Imagine your mind as a vast, mysterious landscape where hidden parts of yourself live, parts you rarely meet in your waking hours. Every night when you close your eyes, this inner world comes alive, speaking to you in symbols, stories, and vivid images. These dreams aren't just random flickers or meaningless noise. They are powerful messages from deep within your psyche, revealing your hidden fears, hopes, and most profound desires. Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers in psychology, believed that dreams are windows into the unconscious mind, a realm that holds the key to understanding who you really are beneath the surface. Through his groundbreaking work, Jung showed us how to decode the symbols in our dreams, how to recognize the universal patterns that shape our inner world, and how these nocturnal journeys guide us toward wholeness and transformation. What if your dreams could unlock answers to questions you haven't even dared to ask? What if they hold the roadmap to your deepest desires and the path to becoming your most authentic self? In this video, we'll explore the fascinating theories of Carl Jung and discover what your dreams truly reveal about the secret parts of your soul longing to be seen and understood. Have you ever woken up from a dream feeling like it meant something? Something deeper than just random images or disconnected events? Carl Jung believed that dreams are not just mental noise or meaningless symbols. To him, dreams are the psyche's natural language, filled with clues about who you really are, what you truly want, and even what you fear most. They are messages from the unconscious mind, offering insights into your inner world that your conscious self might not yet understand. In Jung's view, every dream has a purpose. Unlike Sigmund Freud, who thought dreams were mostly about repressed desires, Jung saw dreams as guiding messages, often mysterious, symbolic, and poetic, but never pointless. They are like letters written in the language of the soul, waiting to be decoded. And if you take the time to listen, they can reveal not only your deepest desires, but also your path toward growth and self-understanding. Jung believed the human psyche is made up of layers. At the surface, we have the conscious mind, what you're aware of in daily life. But below that is a much vaster world, the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious. The personal unconscious holds forgotten memories, traumas, and repressed emotions. But the collective unconscious, this is where Jung's ideas become truly fascinating. It's a kind of shared psychic inheritance full of universal patterns and symbols he called archetypes. These archetypes show up again and again in human dreams, across cultures, time periods, and belief systems. When you dream, your conscious mind lets go. In this vulnerable, open state, the unconscious finally speaks, and what it tells you might not be in plain words, but in images: a lion chasing you, a house burning down, flying through the air, or meeting a wise old man in a forest. These aren't just weird bedtime stories. According to Jung, they are metaphors your soul uses to express real inner conflicts, desires, and truths. Let's say you dream about running from something. Instead of thinking literally, Jung would ask, what are you avoiding in your waking life? That dream might reflect a part of yourself that you've pushed away, what Jung called the shadow. Or maybe you dream of someone giving you advice. That figure could represent an inner guide, or your unconscious trying to help you solve a problem. The key, Jung said, is not to take dreams at face value, but to interpret their symbols personally. What does that symbol mean to you? Jung also stressed that dreams aren't one size fits all. A snake in one person's dream could mean danger, while in another's it could mean transformation or rebirth. You can't Google the right meaning of a dream. Instead, you have to explore your own associations, your own emotions, and your own life. That's why Jung encouraged people to journal their dreams, reflect on them, and even speak with a therapist or analyst trained in dream interpretation. One of the most powerful ideas Jung proposed is that dreams often point towards something missing in your life. They can show you what you truly crave, not just physically but emotionally and spiritually. Maybe it's the desire to be free, to be loved, to create, or to be seen. But often we bury these desires under social expectations, fear, or routine. Dreams bring them back to the surface, asking you to pay attention. Think of dreams as messengers. They arrive each night, whispering truths you might be too distracted or afraid to hear during the day. And yes, sometimes they're confusing or even frightening. But Jung said that's because they often show you what you need to confront, the very things that stand between you and your most authentic self. So, what do your dreams reveal about your deepest desires? To answer that, you have to be willing to listen to them not as nonsense, but as meaningful expressions of your inner world. You have to be open to their mystery, and you have to be willing to ask yourself hard questions, questions about who you really are, what you really want, and what you're truly running from. Jung believed that every dream is an opportunity for growth, a chance to get closer to your true self. By paying attention, reflecting, and interpreting these nighttime messages, you can begin to uncover not only your hidden desires, but also your hidden potential. Dreams, Jung taught us, are not just fragments of sleep. They are mirrors of the soul. To understand what your dreams reveal about your deepest desires, it's important to first understand the man who revolutionized the way we think about the human mind, Carl Gustav Jung. Born in Switzerland in 1875, Jung was not just a psychiatrist. He was a philosopher, thinker, mystic, and one of the most influential figures in modern psychology. His ideas gave birth to what we now call analytical psychology, and his theories continue to shape how we interpret human behavior, emotions, and especially dreams. Jung began his career working closely with Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. At first, the two shared a deep professional bond, particularly around the idea that the unconscious mind plays a powerful role in shaping behavior. However, Jung soon broke away from Freud due to fundamental disagreements. While Freud believed that most of our desires and behaviors were rooted in repressed sexual urges, Jung saw something broader, richer, and more spiritual in the unconscious. He believed that the unconscious wasn't just a dumping ground for unwanted memories. It was a treasure chest of wisdom, filled with symbols and guidance for personal growth. Jung's vision of the human mind was profound. He proposed that the psyche is made up of three major components: the conscious mind, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. The conscious mind is what you're aware of, your thoughts, decisions, and experiences. The personal unconscious holds memories and emotions that have been forgotten or suppressed. But the collective unconscious is where Jung introduced a truly groundbreaking idea. He suggested that all humans share a kind of inherited psychological blueprint, a storehouse of universal symbols and themes called archetypes. These archetypes are patterns that appear in myths, stories, religions, and most importantly, in dreams. For Jung, these universal images, the hero, the mother, the shadow, the wise old man, and many others, are not just cultural. They are part of our shared human experience, built into our psyche from birth. And dreams are one of the main ways these archetypes show themselves to us. That's why Jung believed so deeply in studying dreams, not just as personal experiences, but as windows into something much deeper and more ancient. Jung himself recorded thousands of his own dreams and the dreams of his patients. He treated each one like a puzzle, filled with metaphor and meaning, offering insight into the dreamer's inner life. To Jung, a dream wasn't random, it was meaningful. Even nightmares had a purpose. They might show you what you're afraid to confront, what you're missing, or what you truly desire deep down. Through these symbolic messages, the unconscious is constantly trying to balance and guide the conscious mind. Another crucial part of Jung's legacy is the process he called individuation, the journey of becoming your true self. He believed that most people go through life disconnected from their inner truth, shaped by societal roles, expectations, and unacknowledged fears. But the unconscious, through dreams and symbols, keeps pulling us toward authenticity. Jung's work was about helping people integrate all parts of themselves, the good, the bad, the light, and the shadow, so they could become whole. Jung also had a deep respect for spirituality and myth, which set him apart from many scientists of his time. He believed that religion, symbols, and dreams are all expressions of the same inner search, to understand the self and its place in the universe. He didn't claim to have all the answers, but he gave people tools to explore their inner worlds with honesty and courage. Even today, Jung's influence is everywhere. His ideas have shaped therapy, literature, film, art, and even pop culture. Whether you're aware of it or not, you've probably encountered Jungian concepts in books and movies, like the hero's journey, the battle with the inner shadow, or the quest for wholeness. And when it comes to dreams, his insights remain unmatched. So when we ask, "What do my dreams mean?" or "What do they say about who I really am?" we are walking a path that Jung helped illuminate. He gave us a map to navigate the mysterious inner world, a world where symbols speak, shadows whisper, and the soul sends messages through the language of dreams. Carl Jung didn't just study the psyche, he invited us to listen to it. Carl Jung believed that to truly understand dreams, you must first understand the unconscious mind, because that is where all dreams are born. Unlike the conscious mind, which handles your everyday thoughts, decisions, and awareness, the unconscious is a vast and powerful realm beneath the surface. It stores everything you forget, avoid, repress, or don't even realize about yourself. But it doesn't stay quiet. It speaks to you constantly, especially in dreams. Jung saw the unconscious not as something negative or threatening, but as an essential part of who you are. It contains both personal memories and feelings unique to your life, the personal unconscious, and deeper universal elements shared by all humanity, the collective unconscious. When you dream, both of these layers come alive, sending messages through images, symbols, and strange stories that often don't make sense, at least not right away. Imagine your mind as an iceberg. The conscious part is just the tip you can see above water. Everything below, the much larger part, is the unconscious. You may not be aware of what's beneath, but it's always influencing your behavior, emotions, and decisions. And one of the only times you get a glimpse into that hidden world is through your dreams. Jung argued that dreams reveal your inner conflicts, your hidden fears, and your true desires, but not in plain language. The unconscious communicates in symbols. For example, dreaming about being trapped might not literally mean you're stuck somewhere, but it could reflect feeling stuck in a relationship, a job, or even an identity that doesn't feel like your true self. The unconscious is emotional, imaginative, and metaphorical. It paints pictures instead of writing words. Another important point Jung made is that the unconscious mind is not random. It's intelligent and purposeful. Your dreams are not accidents. They are carefully crafted messages from within you, pointing to something that needs attention, growth, or healing. If you've been ignoring a part of yourself, say your creativity, your anger, your longing for love, the unconscious will try to bring it up in a dream, maybe through a character you meet, a setting you return to, or a strange scenario that feels oddly familiar. Jung called this process compensation. That means your unconscious tries to balance your conscious mind by showing you what you've overlooked or pushed away. If you're too focused on logic and control during the day, your dreams might flood you with emotion or chaos, trying to restore the psychological balance. If you're avoiding a painful truth, your dream may bring it forward, disguised as a symbol you must decode. He also noticed that many dreams contain archetypes, those deep, universal symbols found in myths, stories, and cultures around the world. These could include the mother, the hero, the shadow, or the wise old man. When such symbols appear in your dreams, it's not just personal, it's your unconscious connecting you to something bigger than yourself. These archetypes carry energy and meaning that speak to the very core of your being. Understanding dreams, then, is not about looking up symbols in a dream dictionary. It's about listening to your own inner language, your own associations. What does the snake, the door, the mountain mean to you? That's what Jung emphasized. Personal meaning is key. The unconscious uses your own life, your own memories, and your own emotional responses to shape the message. And there's something even more fascinating. Jung believed that the unconscious doesn't just show you what's wrong, it also shows you how to heal. It tries to guide you toward wholeness by presenting both the problem and the path forward. The unconscious might show you an image of yourself as a child to reconnect you with innocence, or it might reveal a dream where you finally speak your truth to someone, hinting that it's time to do that in waking life. In this way, the unconscious isn't just a storage place for forgotten thoughts. It's alive, it's wise, and it's always trying to help you grow into your full, authentic self. Jung believed that the more we understand our unconscious, the more we can live in harmony with ourselves. Dreams are the bridge between the known and the unknown, between the person you are and the person you're becoming. So, when you sleep tonight and your mind begins to wander, remember, that journey is not random. Your unconscious is speaking. And if you learn to listen, you'll start to uncover the truths you didn't even know you were searching for. Carl Jung believed that symbols are the true language of the unconscious mind, and dreams are where this symbolic language comes alive most vividly. When you sleep, your logical waking mind takes a break, and your unconscious begins to communicate, not with words or clear sentences, but with symbols, powerful, mysterious images that carry deep psychological meaning. To Jung, these dream symbols are never meaningless. They are like coded messages sent from the hidden parts of your psyche to your conscious mind. A snake, a house, a road, a child, a fire. These may seem like ordinary objects or scenarios, but in a dream, they carry layers of significance. Each one is an invitation to explore a part of yourself you may not fully understand yet. For example, imagine dreaming of a locked door. That could symbolize something in your life that feels closed off, an opportunity you're afraid to pursue, a memory you've hidden, or an emotion you're not ready to feel. If you dream of water, it might represent your emotional state. Calm waters could suggest peace. Crashing waves could signal inner turmoil. The same symbol can mean different things depending on the person and the context. Jung warned against using generic dream dictionaries to interpret these symbols. Instead, he emphasized personal association. What does the symbol mean to you? If you dream of a cat, the important question isn't, what do cats usually mean in dreams? But, what do cats mean in my life? Maybe you associate cats with independence, mystery, or even fear. Your unique connection to the symbol is what gives it power and relevance. At the same time, Jung noticed that some symbols appear in everyone's dreams, across cultures and eras. These are what he called archetypal symbols. They come from the collective unconscious and represent deep truths about the human experience. For example, the wise old man might appear in your dream as a grandfather, a monk, or a wizard. guiding you toward insight. The Great Mother may show up as a nurturing woman, a goddess, or even the earth itself, symbolizing safety, care, or rebirth. These archetypes are more than characters. They're psychological forces. When they show up in dreams, they often carry messages about your inner life. The hero archetype, for instance, might appear when you're facing a personal challenge, urging you to be brave. The shadow, a dark or threatening figure, can represent the parts of yourself you deny or reject. Dream symbols also reflect what's happening in your inner world, often revealing things you haven't consciously noticed. You might dream of being lost in a forest when you feel unsure of your direction in life, or of flying when you long for freedom. These images bypass logic and speak directly to your emotional truth. That's why they can feel so intense, because they express feelings you haven't found words for yet. Jung believed that symbols in dreams are multi-layered. A single symbol can have personal meaning, cultural meaning, and archetypal meaning all at once. Understanding a symbol, then, isn't about finding the right answer. It's about exploring its connections in your life. This process of reflection is part of what Jung called active imagination, a technique for dialoguing with the unconscious through images, emotions, and intuition. What makes symbols so powerful is that they open a doorway to the unknown. They're not limited by logic. They invite you to explore the hidden, the emotional, the spiritual. They reflect your deepest desires, your hidden fears, your unresolved tensions. They are mirrors showing you what lies beneath the surface. And sometimes dream symbols even guide you forward. A path in a dream may point toward a new life direction. A broken object might reflect something that needs repair in your soul. A transformation, like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, might symbolize personal growth. Jung believed these symbolic messages could help you become more whole, more authentic, and more connected to your true self. So the next time you wake up from a vivid dream, don't dismiss it as nonsense. Ask yourself, what were the symbols? How did they make me feel? What might they be telling me? Treat your dreams as sacred messages from the deepest part of your mind. Jung taught that by learning to understand your dream symbols, you're not just analyzing dreams. You're learning to speak the language of your soul. Carl Jung believed that one of the most important and often most uncomfortable figures you'll encounter in your dreams is the shadow. The shadow represents the parts of yourself you reject, deny, or hide from the world. It's made up of traits you consider bad, wrong, or unacceptable, but which are still very much a part of you. And your dreams are where this hidden self often makes its appearance. Everyone has a shadow. It's not just made of things like anger, jealousy, or selfishness, but also qualities you might admire in others but feel afraid to embody yourself, like boldness, creativity, or independence. The shadow forms early in life, as you learn what behaviors are okay and what should be hidden to gain love or approval. Over time, these rejected parts of you don't disappear. They simply sink into the unconscious, and from there, they continue to affect your thoughts, relationships, and dreams. In dreams, the shadow often shows up as a dark, threatening figure, a stranger chasing you, a monster, or someone who makes you feel uncomfortable. It may take the shape of someone you know or a complete unknown, but the key is how it makes you feel. The shadow brings fear, tension, or resistance because it represents what you don't want to face within yourself. Jung believed that when you dream of being chased, attacked, or overwhelmed, your unconscious is showing you the parts of yourself you've disowned. For example, if you're someone who always tries to be kind and polite, your shadow might contain suppressed anger or assertiveness. Your dreams might then present you with violent or aggressive characters, not because you are violent, but because your psyche is trying to show you the emotional energy you've buried. But the shadow isn't only negative, it also contains strengths and gifts. you haven't claimed. Maybe you were taught to be quiet and obedient, so your confident and outspoken self became part of your shadow. Dreams involving powerful or rebellious characters might be the unconscious encouraging you to reclaim that energy. Jung believed that ignoring the shadow leads to inner conflict, while facing it brings balance and growth. Integrating the shadow is a central part of individuation, Jung's term for becoming your whole, true self. This doesn't mean acting out every dark impulse. It means becoming aware of your full range of feelings, thoughts, and tendencies, so they don't control you from the dark. Dreams play a crucial role in this process. They reveal what you've been avoiding, and if you're brave enough to look, they can help you grow. One powerful example: if you dream of someone criticizing or humiliating you, it might represent your own inner critic. Jung would ask, is this voice part of your shadow? Do you unconsciously judge yourself the same way? By becoming aware of this, you gain the power to change your relationship with yourself. Or if you dream of someone breaking rules or causing chaos, it might be your shadow showing a desire to be free from pressure, expectations, or control. Jung encouraged people to explore these shadow figures with curiosity, not fear. You can even dialogue with them in imagination, asking what they want, what they represent, and what they're trying to teach you. Often they carry messages of emotional truth. They show you where you feel powerless, ashamed, or stuck, and invite you to reclaim parts of yourself you've long ignored. The integration of the shadow brings emotional depth, resilience, and authenticity. When you face your shadow, you stop being afraid of your own inner world. You become less reactive, more compassionate toward yourself and others, and more capable of living fully. Jung believed that the path to wholeness doesn't lie in being perfect. It lies in embracing your total self, light and dark alike. So the next time you encounter something dark or frightening in a dream, don't rush to escape it. Ask yourself, what part of me does this represent? What is it trying to show me? Facing your shadow in dreams isn't easy, but it's one of the most important steps in discovering who you really are. Carl Jung believed that deep within all of us, there exists a shared psychological blueprint, a set of instinctive images and symbols known as archetypes. These archetypes are not taught or learned. They are inherited patterns that exist in the collective unconscious, a layer of the mind that every human being is born with. And dreams, Jung said, are the stage on which these universal characters come to life. Think of archetypes as ancient roles or energies that appear across cultures and eras. No matter where you're from, you've likely encountered them. The nurturing mother, the wise old man, the courageous hero, the mysterious shadow, or the transformative child. These figures appear in myths, stories, religions, and films, and they also appear in your dreams, often disguised in personal ways. For Jung, when an archetype appears in a dream, it carries a message from the unconscious that goes far beyond your day-to-day experiences. These symbols help you understand the deeper forces shaping your personality, emotions, and life journey. For example, dreaming of a wise guide, perhaps an old teacher, a monk, or even a talking animal, might signal that your unconscious is trying to offer you guidance during a difficult time. That figure is the wise old man archetype, representing inner wisdom. Or maybe you dream of someone you're constantly chasing but can never catch. That could be the Anima or Animus, archetypes representing the feminine and masculine sides of your psyche. Jung believed that each of us carries within us a balance of both masculine and feminine energies, regardless of our gender. Dreams help us encounter and integrate these parts, so we become more balanced and whole. Let's say you dream of a journey through a dark forest full of obstacles. You might be dreaming of the hero's journey, an archetypal story that mirrors your personal growth. The hero must face fear, confront trials, and eventually transform. When you dream of being the hero or even watching one, you might be at a turning point in your life, being called to grow beyond your current limitations. The shadow, which we discussed earlier, is also an archetype. It's the part of you that holds what you've rejected or denied, your dark side, but it can also contain great energy and potential. Facing the shadow in dreams means you're ready to confront and accept more of who you are. Then there's the Great Mother, often appearing as a nurturing figure or as nature itself. She represents protection, comfort, and sometimes smothering control. She can appear when you need healing or when your emotional needs are not being met. On the opposite end, the trickster may show up, creating confusion, breaking rules, and turning your expectations upside down. While annoying or chaotic, the trickster represents creative disruption and can shake you out of stuck patterns. Archetypes are powerful because they speak in symbols and emotions. You don't need to understand them intellectually to feel their effect. Jung believed these images connect you not only to your personal story, but also to something larger than yourself, to the collective experience of being human. What makes archetypes even more fascinating is how they shape your identity over time. As you grow, different archetypes emerge. A child may dream of magical creatures and protective parents. A young adult might encounter the hero, the lover, or the trickster. In later life, the wise old man or woman may begin to appear, signaling a shift toward inner reflection and meaning. Understanding which archetypes show up in your dreams can be a key to self-discovery. They help you ask deeper questions. What is my soul asking for? What part of me needs to grow? Who am I becoming? These characters aren't just symbols, they're invitations to explore parts of yourself you've never met before. Jung believed that dreams are not just random images. They are mythic messages from the soul, using the language of archetypes to point you toward transformation. So when you wake up from a dream filled with strange figures, don't dismiss them. Ask, which archetypes are showing up? And what might they be trying to teach me? Because through them, your unconscious is not just speaking, it's guiding you. Carl Jung introduced a fascinating idea. Within each of us lives an inner opposite, a hidden aspect of the opposite gender. He called these the Anima, the inner feminine in men, and the Animus, the inner masculine in women. These are not literal men or women, but symbolic representations of traits that are often suppressed due to cultural or personal conditioning. And where do these powerful inner figures show up most vividly? In your dreams. Jung believed that we are all born with both masculine and feminine psychological energies. The problem is we're often encouraged to embrace one and deny the other. A man may be taught to be strong, rational, and assertive, but discouraged from being emotional or nurturing. A woman might be praised for being caring and sensitive, but judged for being bold or outspoken. Over time, the disowned qualities don't disappear. They become part of the unconscious, and they begin to live as the anima or animus. In dreams, the anima or animus often appears as a person of the opposite gender, often unfamiliar, sometimes familiar, and usually emotionally intense. You might dream of a mysterious woman who leads you through a dark hallway, or a strong, silent man who offers you protection or challenges you to act. These figures are not just dream characters, they're parts of yourself calling for recognition and integration. For a man, the anima may show up as a beautiful woman, a motherly figure, a seductive stranger, or a mystical guide. She often represents the man's relationship with his feelings, intuition, creativity, and ability to connect emotionally. If ignored, the anima can appear in negative ways, through emotional instability, moodiness, or confusion in relationships. But when accepted, she becomes a source of deep insight, empathy, and inner harmony. For a woman, the animus may appear as a warrior, a judge, a teacher, or even a rebellious lover. He symbolizes logic, assertiveness, independence, and personal power. If the animus is repressed or distorted, it can lead to self-doubt, harsh inner criticism, or difficulty expressing authority. But when embraced, he becomes a powerful ally, fueling confidence, clarity, and strength of purpose. These dream figures often show up when you are at a psychological turning point, when your inner self is asking you to grow beyond your old identity. For example, a woman dreaming of arguing with a domineering man might be confronting her own internalized voice of authority or self-judgment. A man dreaming of a lost or wounded woman might be coming face to face with his own neglected emotional world. Jung saw the anima and animus as gateways to the self. They are not just psychological tools, they are messengers. By paying attention to how these figures act in dreams, how they speak, how they feel, how they affect you, you begin a process of inner balance and healing. You move toward becoming a whole person, not limited by gender roles or inherited ideas of who you're supposed to be. And this isn't just personal, it's relational. Your dreams about the anima or animus also shape how you relate to others, especially in romantic and emotional relationships. If you've projected your inner anima onto a partner, you may idealize or resent them for qualities you haven't fully accepted in yourself. Jung taught that recognizing these projections is key to building healthy, grounded connections, both within and with others. The ultimate goal, according to Jung, is integration. When the masculine and feminine within you stop fighting and begin to cooperate, your inner world becomes more balanced. You can feel and think clearly, act and reflect, lead and care without feeling fragmented or in conflict. So if you dream of a man or woman who feels mysterious, intense, or strangely familiar, pay attention. Ask, what qualities do they carry? What are they showing me about myself? They may not just be dream characters. They may be your inner anima or animus, inviting you to become more fully yourself. Through them, your unconscious is not only telling a story, it's offering you a path to inner wholeness. In Carl Jung's psychology, the ultimate goal of inner growth is to become your true self, not the version of you shaped by society, fear, or ego, but your whole integrated being. Jung saw the self as the central, unifying force of the psyche. It holds all the parts of you, your conscious personality, your unconscious desires, your shadow, your inner opposite, and even your spiritual center. And your dreams, Jung believed, are one of the most powerful ways this self tries to communicate with you. Unlike the ego, which is focused on maintaining control, identity, and consistency, the self wants balance, growth, and wholeness. So when there is inner conflict, repression, or fragmentation, the self uses dreams to guide you back to your center. It doesn't speak in logical arguments, it speaks in images, symbols, and emotions, all designed to lead you closer to your authentic nature. In dreams, the self may appear in many forms. You might dream of a circle, a mandala, a radiant light, or a wise guide. You might feel an overwhelming sense of peace or completeness. These are not just abstract ideas, they are symbols of psychological integration. Jung often used the image of the mandala, a circular, symmetrical design, as a symbol of the self. People who were healing or going through deep transformation often dreamed of circles or symmetrical patterns, as if their unconscious was trying to restore inner order. But reaching the self isn't a simple or comfortable process. Often it begins with dreams that disturb or challenge you. You may face darkness, chaos, or deep emotional truths. This is part of what Jung called the individuation process, a journey in which you confront your shadow, meet your inner opposite, and gradually integrate all parts of yourself. The dreams that come during this time may feel strange, symbolic, or even mystical. That's because the self is trying to break through the ego's defenses and bring your inner world into alignment. Sometimes the self appears in the form of a powerful figure, like a king, queen, sage, or divine being. Other times it might be a child, representing purity, potential, or rebirth. These figures are not literal. They are expressions of the deeper truth within you that wants to be acknowledged and lived out. Dreams guided by the self often come when you're at a crossroads, emotionally, spiritually, or psychologically. You might be facing a decision, an identity crisis, or a period of change. The self uses dreams to encourage you to go inward, to listen deeply, and to trust your intuition. It doesn't offer easy answers. Instead, it offers direction, a sense of what feels right, what feels whole, and what calls to your soul. One of the most beautiful aspects of Jung's idea of the self is that it's unique to you, but also connected to something universal. Your personal self holds your individual path and meaning, but it also taps into the collective unconscious, the shared foundation of human experience. So when you dream of symbols like water, fire, animals, or sacred places, those aren't just personal. They're part of a greater story about human transformation and growth. Jung believed that people suffer when they are disconnected from the self. Without that connection, life can feel shallow, aimless, or overly controlled by ego desires. But when you start listening to your dreams, and especially the ones that bring a sense of awe, beauty, or mystery, you begin to tune in to your inner compass. You begin to live a life that feels meaningful, not just successful or safe. This is why Jung didn't see dreams as meaningless or random. He saw them as sacred messages, clues from the self, pointing the way to deeper integration. They don't just reflect your current state. They offer potential. They show you what you can become. So when you wake from a dream that stirs something deep within you, pause. Ask, is this the self speaking? Is there a truth here I've ignored? Your dream may be offering you more than insight. It may be offering you a glimpse of your whole undivided self, the person you were always meant to become. Carl Jung believed that dreams communicate through a special language, a language made up of symbols. Unlike the straightforward way we speak or think in waking life, dreams use images, actions, and objects to express ideas and feelings that are often too deep or complex for words. These symbols are the keys to understanding what your unconscious mind is trying to tell you. A dream symbol is rarely about what it seems on the surface. For example, dreaming of a house might not just mean a building. It could represent your mind, your body, or even your sense of self. A river could symbolize the flow of emotions or life changes. A snake might be fear, danger, or transformation, depending on the context. That's why Jung emphasized the importance of interpreting symbols within the dreamer's personal experience and emotional context, rather than relying solely on universal dictionaries of symbols. Jung proposed that dream symbols arise from two levels of the unconscious: the personal unconscious, which contains forgotten or repressed memories unique to you, and the collective unconscious, which contains archetypes, universal images shared by all humans. Because of this, some symbols have a personal meaning, while others carry a more universal message. For example, a lion in your dream might remind you of a specific childhood pet or school mascot, personal meaning, or it could represent courage and strength, archetypal meaning. To truly understand a symbol, you must reflect on what it feels like in your dream, what associations it brings up for you, and how it connects to your life. One powerful method Jung suggested is active imagination, a technique where you consciously engage with the symbols from your dreams by writing about them, drawing them, or even imagining a conversation with them. This can help you uncover hidden feelings or insights that the symbols carry. Dream symbols often appear in clusters or sequences, telling a story or revealing emotional patterns. For example, A dream where you see a storm followed by sunlight could symbolize emotional turmoil giving way to clarity and hope. Repeated symbols in your dreams, like a certain animal or object, often point to ongoing inner processes that need attention. Sometimes dream symbols can seem strange or shocking. Jung believed these moments were important. They indicate that the unconscious is breaking through your usual way of thinking, challenging your ego and encouraging growth. For example, dreaming of death or decay can feel frightening, but these symbols often represent the end of a phase and the start of something new, a transformation. Interpreting dream symbols isn't about finding a single, fixed meaning. It's a process of dialogue between your conscious self and unconscious mind. When you explore a symbol, ask yourself, what emotions does this bring up? What part of my life might this relate to? How does this image fit into my current struggles or hopes? By learning the language of dream symbols, you unlock a powerful tool for self-understanding. Your dreams become a rich source of wisdom, revealing desires, fears, and potentials you might not even be aware of when awake. In essence, Jung saw dream symbols as bridges, connecting the hidden parts of your psyche to your waking awareness. They invite you to look deeper, to reflect, and to grow. The more you pay attention to them, the more you learn about your true self, and the deeper your journey of transformation can be. Carl Jung viewed dreams not just as random images or meaningless stories, but as an essential dialogue between the conscious mind and the unconscious. This communication is vital because it helps balance the parts of ourselves we are aware of with those we often overlook or deny. Your conscious mind is what you use daily to think, plan, and make decisions. It's the you that navigates work, relationships, and social life. But beneath this surface lies the unconscious, a vast, mysterious realm full of memories, emotions, instincts, and hidden desires that influence your behavior without your immediate awareness. Jung believed that the unconscious often speaks through dreams to compensate for what the conscious mind ignores or suppresses. For example, if you are very logical and rigid during the day, your dreams might be filled with wild, chaotic scenes, images encouraging you to embrace creativity and spontaneity. This is the unconscious trying to restore psychological balance. Dreams can also bring forward unresolved conflicts or emotional issues that the conscious mind prefers to avoid. You might dream about arguments with someone, fears, or situations that you haven't faced directly in waking life. These dreams are invitations to pay attention, to reflect, and to heal. Importantly, Jung emphasized that dreams are a form of two-way communication. The unconscious sends messages, but your conscious attitude toward those messages affects how well you understand and integrate them. If you ignore or dismiss your dreams, you lose an important opportunity for growth. But if you approach them with curiosity and openness, you can learn profound truths about yourself. Sometimes this dialogue appears as dreams that answer questions you are wrestling with or that guide you during difficult decisions. People often report dreams that clarify feelings, offer new perspectives, or suggest solutions. Jung believed this wasn't coincidence. It's the self guiding the ego toward wholeness. This communication also plays a role in the process of individuation, Jung's term for psychological growth and self-realization. Through dreams, the unconscious nudges you toward parts of yourself that need healing or development. Over time, this dialogue helps you become more integrated, authentic, and balanced. Because this dialogue happens in symbolic form, it can feel mysterious or confusing, but with practice, you can learn to listen more carefully. Keeping a dream journal, reflecting on recurring themes, and exploring your emotional responses to dreams can strengthen your connection to the unconscious. In this way, dreams act like a bridge, linking your everyday conscious self with the deeper, often hidden parts of your mind. This dialogue is ongoing, dynamic, and deeply personal. When you learn to honor it, you open the door to self-awareness, creativity, and healing that can transform your waking life. In essence, Jung taught that dreams are not just messages from the unconscious. They are conversations. They invite you to listen, respond, and grow. And by engaging with this dialogue, you take a vital step on the path toward understanding your deepest desires and becoming your true self. Carl Jung believed that everyone has the ability to interpret their own dreams, not just psychologists or analysts. According to him, your dreams are personal messages from your unconscious, crafted specifically for you. While they often use symbols and imagery that can seem confusing, Jung emphasized that with patience, curiosity, and reflection, anyone can begin to understand what their dreams are truly saying. The first step is to remember your dreams. Keep a dream journal by your bed and write down everything you can recall as soon as you wake up, even small fragments or feelings. Dreams fade quickly, so capturing them immediately is essential. Don't worry about whether they make sense. What matters is the raw material, the images, actions, and emotions. Next, begin to reflect on the symbols in the dream. Ask yourself, what does this image mean to me personally? For example, if you dream of a forest, don't rush to look it up in a dream dictionary. Instead, explore how you feel about forests. Are they peaceful, mysterious, frightening? Jung taught that personal associations are the most important starting point for interpretation. Now, look at the emotional tone of the dream. Were you anxious, joyful, lost, or curious? Emotions are powerful clues about what the dream is trying to reveal. For instance, if you're feeling overwhelmed in the dream, it might reflect a part of your waking life where you feel the same way but haven't fully acknowledged it. Then try to identify which parts of your psyche are being shown. Is the dream showing you a side of yourself you don't usually express? Is there a shadow aspect, a hidden fear or desire trying to make itself known? Are you encountering an archetypal figure like a wise old man, a child, or an animal? These are clues that the deeper self is communicating with you. Jung encouraged using active imagination, a process where you take a symbol or scene from your dream and consciously interact with it. You might write a dialogue with a figure from your dream or visualize yourself stepping back into the dream and exploring it further. This technique helps bridge the gap between your conscious awareness and your unconscious messages. Over time, as you reflect on multiple dreams, you may begin to notice patterns. Are certain themes repeating? Do you keep encountering similar settings or feelings? This repetition is a sign that your unconscious is urging you to pay attention to a specific inner conflict or growth opportunity. Another powerful approach is to look at the dream as a story. Every dream has a beginning, middle, and end. Who is the main character? What challenge do they face? How do they respond? This narrative often mirrors your current emotional or psychological state and can offer insight into the changes you need to make. Importantly, Jung advised not to jump to conclusions or force meanings. Dream interpretation isn't about finding the right answer. It's about opening up a space for inner dialogue and discovery. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. Sometimes sharing your dreams with someone you trust, a friend, a therapist, or even discussing them aloud can help you see them from a new perspective. But remember, you are the final authority on what your dream means. Only you can feel the inner resonance when a meaning is true. By interpreting your own dreams, you begin to participate in your own individuation journey. You move beyond surface-level living and start to align with your deeper truth. Your unconscious isn't trying to confuse you. It's trying to awaken you. Through Jung's lens, dreams are not just random stories. They are sacred whispers from your soul. When you listen closely, reflect deeply, and honor their meaning, you step into a richer, more conscious relationship with yourself and with life itself.